GF says me making a woman best friend is not the same as her having a guy best friend. I don't have a woman as a best friend. Except for my girlfriend. Really. I have women as friends but not close enough to call a best friend. However, she recently brought up that she has a man best friend, so I said, so, would it be okay if I made a woman best friend at my new university? She then said, it wouldn't because it is not the same as me having a guy best friend I've had for years. It was a disagreement that ended with no solution. What are the thoughts on this? Edit. IDK if me adding, edit, is necessary but I see people do it sometimes. Anyways, I've seen many people comment that it's not the same because they've known each other longer than her and I have been together. And I can't have a woman best friend now because it's too late, while I'm in a relationship. I see what you're saying but it doesn't actually make sense. If we're going to have that logic, then why would my girlfriend need to maintain a guy best friend while being in a romantic relationship with me? I have gone above and beyond for this woman. Trust me, I cannot emphasize that enough. I have done so much, which is why these thoughts sparked up in me. Yes, I was a bit insecure but I kept my thoughts and opinions to myself until today when I started that discussion. Edit 2. Alright, I appreciate the input and opinions. I hope you all have a great day. My GF wasn't too happy but I said what I felt and thought. So I guess that was necessary. Maybe I'll leave you all an update if she wakes up and decides to pack her bags or if we talk things out and compromise. I'm going to read everyone's comments later. I think I read most of them. Anyways, my GF and I are fine now. We both got up in the morning and I am going back home to see her for a bit. We get into disagreements here and there but we're not in a bad toxic relationship. I'm only mentioning this so that no one thinks that I'm putting anyone through hell. I'm just sharing so that I can get input from many people and I feel comfortable doing it this way. Unless my GF wants to talk about this again, we can. But I am not mentioning this anymore. I have a guy best friend, who is also best friends with my boyfriend. He was my friend first. If she can't bring him around, you location flag. And vice versa. If you genuinely have a female friend, you should be able to introduce each other with no problem. Otherwise it's not genuine. My ex left me for the guy best friend smiley face. Even though she told me she saw him as a friend. I'm a man and my best friend is a woman. We're 100% platonic and 100% there for each other. It's awesome. It's nothing special. Just how it is. It actually goes the same for both parties. How close your friends are kinda depends also. Because from where I live, there are friends who would just take advantage on hitting on her partner knowing they are already in a relationship, and there are friends who would respect your relationship and know their limits. You can just let her know if her guy best friend is making you jealous and that it needs to stop, and also you need to be under the impression that her friend knows she is in a relationship. I don't see an issue with being friends with the opposite gender as long as there are no romantic feelings involved, etc. Well, that depends. If you were to go out right now and make a random girl your bestie just to get a rise out of her, then yeah, it's not the same. That's just being petty. But I would raise concerns if you've never met the dude and she refuses for y'all to meet and or something just feels off about the vibes. Always go with your gut. If it's telling you something is off, then it usually is. Not to project my relationship onto other people, but there's not a single guy friend I've had that I've ever felt uncomfortable with meeting my boyfriend. Same for him. It's just all about respect, the common courtesy and consideration of the relationship, and honoring the other person's feelings. It depends on the nature of how the friendship is formed, in my opinion. Generally speaking, If you meet and form a new friendship with someone of the opposite sex during the normal course of life, for example at work, in class, etc., and become friends, then I really see no issue. If you go to, let's say, a bar or a similar social environment, when your SO isn't there, and exchange numbers, that's a bit weird. If you talk to some random woman on social media that you've never met prior, then that's a bit strange. Little about me. I've been married to my soulmate of a wife for nearly 3 years. I have one noteworthy female best friend of 10 years, which my wife absolutely adores. Me and my wife both have other friends of the opposite gender as well, no issues. You can have a female best friend and she can have a male best friend. However, you all need to be able to socialize together. If she doesn't want you around while they hang out, then it's a problem, and vice versa. You also need to make sure boundaries are firm, and if any issues arise, you communicate them. Two sides to a coin always. She and this guy have been best friends for way longer than A. She has known you, and B. that you would have had your best girlfriend. She is 100% allowed to maintain her friendship with this guy, because imagine if she didn't and things with you didn't work out? Then she would lose a friend and a relationship. You 100% are allowed female friends too, but I want to know why suddenly you want a female best friend. Is it out of jealousy? Out of spite? To get a reaction? Possible miscommunication here. So she has a guy best friend, and has been her best friend for years? I'm assuming. Yes? You asked if you made a girl best friend at uni, would it be okay? I think her response of, no it's not the same, is just down to the fact she's known her best friend for longer. Meaning there is more value there. I think that's what she's focusing on. But that wasn't your question to her. However, nothing to say you meet a friend who is a girl and becomes your best friend over time and then having the same value to you. My point. You need to find out specifically if she has an issue if you had a friend who was a girl that becomes your best friend. If she has an issue with that, then you label her a hypocrite and say you won't stay in a relationship with double standards. Question. Why did you ask her this? I'm reading between the lines here, but are you jealous she has a guy best friend? It seems like a pointless discussion to me. As long as either of you make friends with anyone and respect boundaries of the relationship, all is good. She can't dictate who you can and can't be friends with. She's your GF, not your mother. Even your mother can't dictate who you can and can't be friends with. If you make a friend at university and you really click and end up becoming best friends, then great. It shouldn't matter if they're male or female. If she doesn't trust you, that's her problem. No one can tell you who you can be friends with, regardless of gender, partners included. If that friendship sparks jealousy, then I would recommend investigating why it causes jealousy and if those reasons are valid. If there are valid reasons for the jealousy, then either you need to address that with your GF, and if that can't be done, perhaps the relationship is not what you want or need, and you should move on. It's totally fine to have male friends and female friends. It's totally fine to have male best friends and female best friends. Gender regardless. I kinda get what the GF is saying. Her male best friend was there before the romantic relationship with you. But honestly, if you met a woman and a genuine friendship occurred and matured naturally, there's no harm. So long as it is platonic and no boundaries are crossed. The thing is, you don't just label someone as your best friend, then boom, they are your best friend. If you are being for real on this, understand that creating your woman best friend, optimally, would start with an organically birthed friendship that deepens over time with built-up trust and respect on each side. So that takes time and emotional energy, intimacy. which I'm not sure you will have a surplus of if you are still working on your relationship with your girlfriend. It seems like you guys had an argument revolving around a random question you asked her out of jealousy. Because yes, you asking if you could get a best friend from the opposite gender out of nowhere seems very much like jealousy or insecurity. And now you're asking strangers to try and pick a side, preferably yours, because your edit literally shows that you're not gonna change your mind about that. So yeah, you seem pretty insecure and also not mature enough for two-sided conversations. I'm sorry. I hope you'll get more confident with time. It'll solve a lot of your issues. People have friends FFS. Why are heteros so hung up on whether their partners have friends of the sex, gender they're attracted to? If you do it out of spite, then it's actually wrong, both for the intention and for the new girl. It wouldn't, because it is not the same as me having a guy best friend I've had for years. That's a but insecure of her, because you never know when you make friends in life. But yes, I get her perspective. To strictly searching for a female BFF is kinda tricky. Her relationship has been confirmed platonic with her BFF, but your crusade might jeopardize your relationship if it's not natural and out of spite. Now, if you befriend someone naturally and keep it healthy and transparent, I don't think it will be wrong, as long as you prioritize the main relationship while maintaining platonic ones. I don't think there is anything wrong. There has to be trust in the relationship. Otherwise it won't last long and everything you do is just a waste of time. I don't know your age, but I will assume around 20s. So you should be able to make friends of either gender without it becoming an issue. She has a guy friend who I believe you haven't met. That's a red flag in my opinion. Keeping him away from you is a bit of shady behavior, and if you can't have a woman friend, then your GF has to meet you halfway and not hang out with her man friend. It should be 50-50 here. Make your friends and have a good time. As she should too. If there is insecurities, there will also be a reason for it. You can't be in a social setting, and if a woman comes to talk to you, you can't get to know her? No. You have communicated, and if your GF can't handle it, then be sure that it won't work. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, I say. Must have been interesting listening to her song and dance in order to avoid facing being a hypocrite. If your intentions are pure, then the gender of your friends shouldn't matter.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.